श्री श्री आनंदमयी मात की जय. Question: Ma, how can one be happy in the household? Ma, if a person accepts the role of a disguise, one can be happy in the household. You must have noticed how during fancy dressing, people differently dressed personate for something else, but do not forget who they really are. As for ourselves, we do assume these fancy dresses, but regard them as real. If we look up our fellow members in the household as transient like fancy dress people, we can be happy in our domestic life. Question: Ma, what is wrong if we are happy as householders and be satisfied with our state? Ma, I have not referred to anything being wrong. It is all right if one can remain absorbed in such a life, but it is not possible. For example, you go for a walk all dressed up. After a while, the clothes sit heavy on you and you are uneasy. You are eager to put them off and are relieved when they are removed. In the same way, a man is free by nature and likes to remain free, feels troubled by bondage. So while leading a domestic life, one cannot be engrossed with it. The bonds of domestic life makes one restless and longs for freedom. What is more, all want peace and joy. Human beings are naturally joy seeking. One wants to establish oneself in joy, therefore is always looking for joy. Why should one seek it if one did not have within oneself a foretaste of joy? It is because one has within oneself an awareness of unfettered joy that one pines under domestic ties. The state of jiva is bondage. Freed from it, the jiva can rest in joy. Question: Ma, many are of the opinion that there is no previous birth. Our own experience is that we cannot recall anything of what we were in our previous life. Why should we not enjoy to the fullness of material happiness that falls to our lot? When we derive pleasure from it, why should we turn to religious practices? Ma, it is true that we cannot recall our doings in the previous life, but we bear within us an imprint of them. For example, it happens sometimes that we do not remember when and how we got our limbs burned, but the wounds remain all the same. They are painful too. In the same way, though we have no memory of our deeds in the previous life, we suffer from a hangover of pain due to those actions. Besides, we have the memory of a state in our past when we had no sufferings. That is why we seek freedom from sufferings. If it had not been so, we could never bring ourselves to look for peace and liberation. If you could have been happy with this domestic life, you would have no sense of wants. But the question you are asking show that you lack something. Otherwise, why should these questions arise at all? So long as one is in body, one must suffer from the very fact of being corporeal. The clothes one wears have its pain. At least one is worried of preserving the clothes. That causes pain. Leading domestic life is invariably associated with painful experiences. So attempts should be made for not only temporary remission but eradication of such afflictions forever. श्री श्री आनंदमयी मात की जय.